Good evening. My name is Mary Zupke, and I'm one of the dietitians here at Living Well and also Northwestern Medicine, the West region. So we're so happy that you joined us today, and I have a colleague with me today.
Hi, I'm Christina Swartz. I'm also a registered dietitian. I work with Mary in the West region, and so glad to be here tonight and have everybody who's joining us live.
Yeah, so I love this topic, fighting cancer with color, because color makes food beautiful, and we also know that it helps increase our nutrition. And incorporating all these fruits and vegetables are really helpful too, because it's part of the Mediterranean diet and the Mediterranean lifestyle. So I see some people joining, so hello. The Mediterranean diet and lifestyle, you may have heard, it incorporates more chicken and fish, more fruits and vegetables, more of the healthy fats like olive oil, avocado in moderation, and then whole grains in moderation as well, and low-fat dairy. It also includes activity. So that's part of the whole Mediterranean lifestyle, and we do talk about that a lot because it does help with disease prevention. And same with color. Color on your plate will help with increasing those anti-inflammatory foods and having that disease prevention quality that we want. So that's why we're excited about talking about it. And you can see behind us that we have a lot of color. We're going to talk about some specifics there, and so happy to be with you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Christina's going to talk a little bit about phytonutrients. It's kind of a big word, but we do see it on the internet a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great way to get started. So phytonutrients, sometimes they're called phytochemicals. They're natural compounds found in foods, plant foods especially. So all those things that are emphasized in our plant-based Mediterranean type diet, like Mary was mentioning, the fruits, the vegetables, whole grains, those are going to be most concentrated sources of these phytonutrients. So what they do is they neutralize free radicals. That decreases the power of those free radicals to cause damage in our body. Some phytonutrients can increase cancer cells to self-destruct. How amazing is that? Some can stop carcinogens from causing damage to our cells and DNA, which again is cancer causing, which is, it's wonderful. And all that comes from the plants that we eat. And like Mary was saying, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant benefits. Some of them can also block the development of blood vessels to tumors, so cutting off that nutrient supply to decrease tumor growth. So we need a wide variety. That's why we want to add all the color to get different types of phytonutrients in our diet for all of those, maximizing all of those benefits. What about free radicals? Do you want to elaborate? It sounds a little wild, but what are those?
Yeah, free radicals are substances in our body that we don't want to have. So the phytonutrients are kind of neutralizing that. I like to think of like little cells that have little plus signs on them, and they're kind of all over the place. And those phytonutrients help neutralize them so that they're not producing cancer and stress in our body and increasing inflammation. So we know we can get free radicals from the environment, we can get it from water, we can get it from our foods. Also, we can get it from smoke and smoking, and also smoke in the environment. So there are a lot of ways that we can get these free radicals. Stress, actually, we talk a lot about decreasing stress, and stress can increase those free radicals, so that's something to keep in mind too. So these foods help neutralize those free radicals so that we don't have that increased tumor growth and those concerns. So free radicals, even though a lot of times we hear about them on the internet maybe, or in the news, we don't know what they mean, they are important to make sure that we're neutralizing those. So can we get these phytonutrients from foods? We talked about how they are in some of these, but tell us kind of what that means.
This is actually one of my favorite facts to share with people and patients, is that
we are dietitians.
Yes, so phytonutrients are found in the pigments of food. So when you're chopping up a beet and it's staining your hands or your chopping board, That's where those phytonutrients are found. So the more deeply colored the fruits and vegetables, the more concentrated the phytonutrients. So we're going to talk about also, all these different colors of foods and how we can maximize those phytonutrients. But first, why can't we just, have a quick fix? Why can't we just take a capsule or a supplement or, one of those vitamin C packets to get all these antioxidant benefits? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a good question, and we get this a lot at the Cancer Center. During treatment, we don't recommend vitamins A, C, E. They spell ace bandage. It's a good way to remember. But also selenium and zinc, because those have those antioxidant properties. So we don't recommend those during treatment because they may interfere with some of the medications and make the treatment less effective. So during treatment, we would say no. And really, food first is kind of our motto. We want to get our nutrition from food if possible. Sometimes it's not possible, and then those kinds of antioxidants by mouth might be helpful. A lot of people take the vitamin C packets if they have a cold. That's probably okay, but not during treatment. So it's good to know kind of where you are in the continuum, and certainly if you're concerned about certain supplements, you can ask your dietitian. We get those questions a lot, and we're available to help with that, but it's a good question. Turmeric is another one that we get a lot of questions about. Should I take it in capsule form, or should I eat a lot of it in food, or put a teaspoon in my yogurt, or what? So turmeric is the same way. We don't recommend it in capsule form during treatment. However, turmeric added to your food, as long as you don't overdo it, right? Everything in moderation, but if you're, I love to roast cauliflower and broccoli, and so that's a great way to, add your antioxidants in where you're digesting them in your body naturally. So yeah, so turmeric is okay if you put it on your food, but we don't recommend it in pill form. Any supplement should really be approved by your physician. So you can talk with your team to see if a supplement is okay, but the Food and Drug Administration is not surveying supplements, so there could be added ingredients that we don't know about. So that's the concern. We're not sure exactly what is in a lot of those types of supplements. So it's just something to be aware of and be careful about. But if you can, trying to get this variety of color is really helpful, because then you can get those nutrients and they're metabolized with the other parts of the food, which makes it a little healthier. So we're going to talk a little bit about the different color groups, just to let you know kind of which groups have which nutrients and how to be aware of them. And so what's our first color? Red,
okay,
right?
Yeah, so we can get those phytonutrients from red foods, and kind of going back again to the food chemistry that I love to talk about. So the pigment that colors red foods is called anthocyanin. So it's found in cherries and beets and apples, red onion, tomatoes, just to kind of name a few. So those have high concentration of that pigment, which also supplies the phytonutrient. So that's going to provide that anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory benefit, protecting cells and DNA, and promoting vascular health too as well. So there's a lot of benefits that come from incorporating a variety of those red foods. What about orange foods besides oranges, which we all know are good?
And I love how you said vascular health. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Sure.
Some people might not know what that
means.
So
we kind of want to protect our heart health and our cardiovascular system. We want to make sure that everything has good blood supply, our organs, our extremities. So protecting our vascular health is really important to help bring nutrients to every part of our body.
Yeah, so thanks for explaining that, just in case. We love talking about this, so you can tell. So the orange foods, we have a lot of foods here that have some orange in them. So the orange pepper, for example, We've got, Christina's going to talk more. We've got a couple of recipes to share with you about sweet potatoes, and we probably hear about carrots and vitamin A, but that pigment, the beta carotene, is also in all of these other orange foods. So sweet potatoes and the orange peppers that I was talking about. So those are just part of that anti-inflammatory group, and they still provide some of those, but we know that it helps also with night blindness. It helps with our eye health. And you know, there are lots of foods in that group that you don't really think about, like apricots and cantaloupe. I love to talk about cantaloupe. I feel like it's a candy bar of nutrition. It's got a lot of good vitamin A, but also magnesium and potassium and you know, just a lot of antioxidants as well. So we didn't talk about citrus, but you know, we've got those lovely oranges, and there is a lot of vitamin A and citrus as well. So yeah, so just kind of keeping those in mind. They really help the immune system, and that's a good idea if you're trying to get that vitamin C. Also vitamin C helping with you know, some iron absorption, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what about the yellow foods? Because I did talk about citrus, so that's a good way. And then also the white and brown, you don't really think those would have very much nutrition.
Right.
But they do, right?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, yellow, we kind of think of the banana, the yellow bell peppers. Again, we have some examples back here, lemon. So kind of getting a good variety from those different types of foods, which offer the flavonoids and carotenoids as well for the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, again, benefiting your heart and vascular health. And you know, it's pretty obvious for some of the other pigments, but there is a white pigment. It's called anthocyanin.
And is it considered a pigment?
It is, yep. And it also has those phytonutrients. So, you know, when we think about the cauliflower, garlic, even, you know, the flesh of an apple, it's, you know, it's white. It's got that pigment. It has the antioxidant benefit. And then, you know, just these foods also offer fiber, vitamins, minerals. So, you're getting a good range of benefits rather than a supplement, which is just offering that isolated nutrient. So that's why we want to eat the whole fruit, the whole vegetable, to really get that whole package.
I like that you talked about the whole fruit, because a lot of times having increased fiber, and we'll talk about this again later too, but helps with managing weight. If it takes longer to eat, it's going to stay in your belly longer and keep you full longer. So I feel like and you mentioned the peel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's higher in fiber too.
Yeah.
And so I love that.
Yeah. Green foods, we all know that, you know, we have our superfoods, kale and things like that, but what else that is, you know, that has those powerful antioxidants?
Yeah, a lot of times, and I think spinach, we know that spinach has a lot of good nutrition. We've grown up hearing that. And spinach does have a lot more nutrition as far as specific nutrients. For example, it has 19 more times of the vitamin C that iceberg lettuce has, for example. And iceberg lettuce, you would think, doesn't have much nutrition, but for some people, iceberg lettuce is the best one. So if you're on blood thinners sometimes, we recommend having a little bit less of the greens. So it's good to, you know, kind of know where you're getting your nutrition, because it might be specific to your situation that you would need one sort of food versus another sort of food. So I like that. But the chlorophyll in those leafy greens is what really gives it that pigment and helps provide those antioxidants that we know and love. But kale is a great example. A lot of people don't like kale, but you have to remember to massage it, right?
Yes.
So it'll taste okay. And I always like to take out that middle part that's really super crunchy, that vein in the middle there. So and sometimes now we're getting into soup weather, so taking that kale and throwing it in your pot of soup and chopping it up, you might find that you like it more than before. The vitamin K in those green vegetables really helps with bruising. So when we talked about blood thinners, that's why you don't want to have a lot of spinach, because it will make that blood thinner not as active. So But if you're prone to bruising, a lot of times we may see that there aren't that many leafy greens in your diet. So, incorporating those is a good idea. They also have calcium. So it's one of the higher, for vegetarians, it's one of the higher foods to get some of that calcium, or vegans rather, that aren't getting any dairy. And then folate and iron. So those are all good reasons to have those leafy greens. And sometimes we have trouble fitting those in. So kind of like the soup idea, I like that. But also maybe having some in your fridge that are washed and even wrapped in a paper towel, and then you throw them on your sandwich. You can make a quick side salad with those. Some people even chop them up and put them right on the soup as a garnish.
Mm-hmm.
So Christina's got a great way to show you how she used some of our herbs. And we did some herbs back here just to kind of emphasize the greenness and how wonderful it is. So we have some fresh thyme and also some fresh rosemary. And these are potted, so you could actually get those in the grocery store this time of year, pot them in a little bit of a bigger pot. This is kind of a small pot, but if you put it in a little bit bigger pot, you can keep it in your kitchen on a nice warm sunny window. And then you can have those fresh herbs, and a lot of herbs have a lot of good nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, they are plant foods, so they're part of that plant-based lifestyle, and not only are they beautiful, but they add flavor and nutrition. So
I
can't
know.
go wrong.
Well, and the other thing is that since it's part of the Mediterranean diet, you have to add less salt. So you've got that fresh, those fresh herbs to help. So, and we talked a little bit about how they're low in calories, so they also help with that weight management. In some cases, we're trying to gain weight, and some we're trying to lose. So it's good to know, as I said, where you're getting your nutrition. So moving down the rainbow, let's talk a little bit about the blue-purple foods. And we have a couple of cool ones to show you.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to the red, that anthocyanin, that pigment's also responsible for those deep purples and the blue and the black colored. So trying to get a good variety, working in berries, which are the highest concentration. So those blackberries, the blueberries, they're so beautiful and delicious. So those are going to be great sources of those phytonutrients.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also the kale that we mentioned, we have eggplant here. It's so beautiful, that deep purple. Purple cauliflower, if you've ever seen that before, that tastes so good when you roast it, and add fresh herbs. Even olives, so think about, Kalamata olives have that same dark, deep tone, and that's an unsaturated fat, which has major anti-inflammatory benefits.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep full too.
Yeah,
if you have a little bit of fat in the diet and adding that to your salads or even pasta. I love it with pasta.
Right, yep. So a little drizzle, making vinaigrettes with the olive oil, drizzling on your veggies to roast, and that can help with absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. So there's a big benefit there. So we've kind of gone through the rainbow visually, and we've talked about it. But how can we incorporate these foods and more color into our meals? Specifically, I feel like breakfast is kind of trickier. Maybe we have less time. We might skip it. How can we work some of those colors into our breakfast meal?
Yeah, and we do have a breakfast class coming up in a couple of weeks through Living Well. And just a little plug too, if you're looking for recipes, we have just a boatload of recipes on the Living Well Cancer Resource Center, so it's livingwellcrc.org, and you can go to the culinary nutrition side, and we have just listed classes and lots of recipes, and also I believe the handouts will be there as well. So we've got the recipes from today, so you can go on there and just check that out. We've been working with recipes for several years now, so we have a truckload. So and they're all using whole foods and fresh herbs, and also just kind of a part of that rainbow. I love that. So yeah, as far as breakfast goes, I showed you this little bowl of berries, and we were able to find some berries today, and we've got raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. Blackberries are one of the highest fiber fruits, and especially the berries. They have like 7 grams per half cup. So that's really nice because it helps keep you full. They're a little bit less sweet too. So if you're looking for something a little bit less sweet, but still getting your antioxidants. So we found some fresh berries, but you can't always, and it's nice to have, to eat local if you can. We're just about over the big fresh berry season throughout the summer. We've been so lucky. So what are some alternatives? Frozen is great. Now they're taking those from the fields and flash freezing them. So they're maintaining that high nutrition quality, which is really important. So it's almost like eating local, wouldn't you say, Christina?
Yeah.
Because you're getting them right from the field and they're preserving them so that they're ready to go. So that's a great way to add them to your oatmeal. Add them to your oatmeal, your cereal, any of those. So just, incorporate those berries when you can. Some other, some other ways are adding them to cereals. I have a little dry throat, so I'll get some water.
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to take over and talk a little bit about some snack ideas? Or
I think just incorporating berries, but also incorporating other fruits and vegetables that have a lot of color. Do you have some other breakfast ideas while I take some water?
I think it's, we forget a lot of times about adding veggies to our scrambled eggs. So throw in some spinach or tomato, saute up some zucchini, or, if you have a head of broccoli, just, saute the veggies up real quick and then take them out of the pan and then scramble up your eggs, and then you can kind of toss them all together. I love doing a big veggie scramble.
Yeah, I love that.
Maybe
And
a little
omelets
cheese.
are a great idea. I'm much better now. Talking a lot today. So also using other grains. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, but having like a quinoa bowl where you're adding some fresh veggies and even some nuts to get kind of the grain and the nuts and protein. So yeah, I love that. Yeah. So, just kind of incorporating them when you can. Again, it's easy to have a spinach salad with a variety of greens and vegetables. We have so many fun vegetables here today too. Like we brought some purple potatoes. You could chop those up and roast them and throw them into your salad. My grandson really likes potatoes on his pizza.
Oh, that's a new one.
We've got peppers, we have cucumber, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Eggplant is so beautiful and easy to chop up and roast, and you could use that turmeric again.
Oh yeah.
So, just making sure that you're, kind of looking for that variety. They're delicious, they're beautiful. And when you look at your plate and see all those colors, then you know that you're getting a lot of good nutrition. So we started to talk about snacks.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me some of those snacks that we
in
can
between
incorporate.
meals, it's a great way if you want to work in some more fruits and veggies or healthy fats. I think a good vehicle for working in those fruits and veggies are dips. So it's kind of fun, it's easy.
Love that. Yeah.
Using Greek yogurt, just plain Greek yogurt as a base, season it with a little garlic powder, onion powder, any of the fresh herbs that we talked about, and there you have a dip. So, if you have some fresh sliced cucumber or bell peppers or carrots, whatever's in your fridge, super dippable, really easy. If you're more on the sweet side, take your plain Greek yogurt, drizzle in a little honey, cinnamon, peanut butter, and then you can dip in your fresh berries. So
I love the peanut butter idea. It gives it a little bit more protein.
Yeah.
So good. I love peanut butter.
So
that's
it's
a great
fun for
idea.
kids, it's quick, it's easy, it's delicious. So that's a great way to kind of sneak in.
And you can keep it in the fridge for a couple days.
Yeah,
so you don't
sure.
have to do it every single time you're eating.
Right.
Right?
And now these energy bites that are oat-based are super popular, so you can make a big batch with oats, and it's super customizable if you like nut butters, if you like chia seeds, if you want to add in pumpkin puree and pumpkin spice and make up a big batch, keep them in the freezer, take them to go. By the time you're ready to eat, they've defrosted, and it's great, keeps you full instead of going through the drive-through. So it's a great option too.
Yeah. I think you had a really good point where it takes some planning, right? You have to kind of plan ahead. You have to kind of say, okay, what am I going to have in the fridge that I can grab quick so that I'm not you know, it's okay to have fast food occasionally, but you want to make sure that you're getting in some of these antioxidants, some of these phytonutrients that are going to neutralize those free radicals. So yeah, so if you can do that and have some things ready in your fridge, ready to go, have the dip ready, have some chopped up veggies. We're going to talk about another snack idea in a minute, but yeah.
And really consistency is key. So we don't want to go all week and then at the end of the week, oh my gosh, I have to work in the rainbow. You want to kind of do it every day and
That's a good point.
most meals of the day and snacks. That's really going to give you those benefits. It's got to be like an everyday. It's kind of like a behavior. It's like you know, it's a skill. So it's a learned thing. We want to practice it every day. So, you know, check your plate, look for color, and then if you need to work in some extra color, a little bit of planning is always helpful.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about recipes, but before that, I thought I would just talk quickly about some cooking methods. If you're steaming, for example, you're going to reserve some of those good nutrients, some of those antioxidants. If you're cooking for long periods of time at high temperatures, you might lose your vitamin C, your vitamin B12. So just kind of keep that in mind. Quick, like that's why stir fry is a good idea if you tolerate it. Sometimes during treatment, stir fry is not the best option. But if you can, it will hold on to some of your nutrients. So we have a couple of good recipes to talk about here. And we have some tips too. So why don't we talk about your recipe first, Christina?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I made today is an autumn glow salad. Okay, so it's gonna illustrate everything we've basically been talking about. Can you see this okay? So what we have here is...
That looks just amazing.
Look at all the colors.
I know, I wish we could have you taste it.
Yeah, so I have a bed of brown rice and quinoa, and you can use any grain you like if you have farro or bulgur on hand, whatever it is. We have chopped up apples, which are so delicious at this time of year. Whatever kind of apple you like, it adds some crisp tartness. We have our purple cauliflower. We have our white cauliflower. There's our anthozanthin. I love that word. We have sweet potato that we've roasted. And then I have a vinaigrette on top. It's got lemon and olive oil and herbs. And again, it's going to help us absorb the iron in our plant foods. It's going to bring, you know, more antioxidant power, tons of flavor. So I highly suggest trying this recipe.
That looks
so
good.
So
we need a way to transfer little tasting cups to you guys.
Yep. And then Mary, what did you make today?
So I have some hummus here, and it's pumpkin hummus. And what I did was kind of put a variety of vegetables so that you can kind of see we've got these gorgeous peppers here. Look at all those pretty colors. And then we have the mini peppers. So a lot of times people don't remember those, but they're really fun. You wash them and they're ready to eat. And then we have some cucumber spears. I like making different textures with the vegetables. You could do it with cucumbers too, but these are like carrot chips. So why not do cucumber chips or carrot chips? And then we have some little mini pitas too. So, you know, you can have both. A lot of people are looking for chips or bread or some item like that. Have some of those, have some of your veggies. And this has got a little bit of a kick to it. It's got a little adobo, chipotle peppers in there, and some smoked paprika on the top. So it smells really good, and I love this variety. So that's a good way to kind of, you can add it for a snack at home, or you can have it for a party.
Yep, so there's one of our dips.
That's
our
right.
vehicle to work in our
That's
veggies.
right. That's right. So thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for supporting Living Well Cancer Resource Center, and we're so happy to have you guys tonight. Thank you, Mary, for having me, and we hope to see you next time for breakfast ideas.
Yeah, that sounds great. Have a great night.
Bye.